No freaking way. This thing has been folded in two and is half cracked. We're dang near halfway cracked through, and it still latches. I was gonna chuck it, but this might be a better tailgate option than the other one that we have. So we might have to weld all these cracks up and make this thing work. Anyways, hey everybody, welcome back to Hardcore Fab Shop. And yeah, today we are going to be back to work on our trailer, and it's time to get the sheet metal on there, obviously. And we had a lot of people commenting in the last video on the trailer build that I needed to do some things to it, and I guess I just hadn't made myself clear yet, or I hadn't presented the idea to you guys yet good enough to where everybody understood kind of where we're at. So I want to do that real quick before we get started doing some sheet metal work so that everybody's on the same page. There was a bunch of people that were saying that I needed to turn this trailer into a gooseneck trailer for some reason. First of all, in my opinion, it is a gooseneck trailer. It has a gooseneck hitch on it. So that makes it a gooseneck trailer. It's not a bumper pull. It goes on the gooseneck ball on the truck. So I don't quite understand that exactly, unless everybody is referring to the fact that it needed to be like Z'd or have a big, neck on it or something like that. And maybe that's what they were trying to get at. I don't know, but long story short, that's not how I can't build the trailer that way, because if I'm building the trailer that way, then that puts our deck way too low. And if our deck's that low, then we can no longer have the sheet metal sides. And if we can't have the sheet metal sides, then I might as well just pull my regular car trailer behind it. And I was trying to get completely away from that, and I was trying to get this kind of cool vibe going on with the old school sheet metal that matches the rest of the cab. So hopefully that kind of explains things a little bit better, maybe, I don't know. And also I had a bunch of people saying that I need to put air ride on the trailer. It's got air ride on the trailer, so I guess didn't watch the whole video maybe or something, I don't know, but there is air ride on the trailer. So we're building it to match the truck. When the truck is down all the way, the trailer is down all the way. And then when we air up the truck, we will also air up the trailer, and then we will roll down the road. So hope that puts everybody on the same page. Anyways, plans for today, we're going to put sheet metal on our trailer. Try to start making this thing look cool. Also picked up an old set of fenders from Pfeiffer's off of a C50 that they had out there. You can see, maybe you can see, kind of same thing going on. And the idea behind that is to try to make the body lines on the bed match the body lines on the truck. So Connor already took this and cut this up for us and got rid of most of it. We still need to trim it down to where it fits, obviously, but just kind of give you the idea. There it goes, something down there like that. Anyways, I'm gonna trim this up a little bit here, and we'll kind of get an idea of how that's gonna look on there here in a second. And then we got to figure out a way to actually attach the bed to the chassis. So I've had a couple of different ideas with that. The first being, we took the cross arms there that we had from some old pallet racking, and Connor cut the ends of it off so we can use that for our stringers here in our trailer. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. I got one out here. So these are a little bit wider than the bed, which is great because we need the bed to be, the flat part of the bed to be wider, because I want to put Old Crow on here is the main reason I want to be able to have a deck on the top of this. And Old Crow, I took one of these over there and set it across the back of Old Crow, and since it's got those big giant Hoosiers on the back of it, this thing is actually not wide enough for the whole full width of the tires on Old Crow. We could find something else besides these and put on here that would be wide enough, but that's gonna put us right at legal limit width-wise, and it's gonna put it hanging quite a little ways out here past the body. And personally, I would rather have a few inches of tire hanging off the back and off the side of our trailer than to have an extra, bunch of extra width here on our deck. It's hanging out over our sheet metal. I just think it would look better. So we're gonna go ahead and stick with these. And then I was planning on just putting these right down onto the chassis, weld them on, and then coming up here from the bottom and just attaching the tops of the bed rails to the bottoms of these, or maybe put a piece of angle iron off of it or something with a hole and drill it, bolt it, whatever, something along that line. So that's kind of where my mind went to begin with. Now, after having it sitting up here for a second, kind of checking it out a little bit here real quick before I started shooting this video, I'm resetting some of my thinking here a little bit, and maybe it might make more sense to go ahead and notch the bedside a little bit here and let the cross member actually come down. Can't go down all the way because frame, but we can take this and lift this up just a little bit here, and then make that have the whole top of this thing kind of all be, one plane, and then we could weld the bed sides to the cross members. So still kind of kicking that around a little bit. I'm gonna think on that for a second, and I guess I'm gonna go ahead and trim up this fender real fast, and while I'm doing that, I'll think about what we just talked about, and then we can come back and kind of sit this up here and see what it's gonna look like. So I've been messing around with this thing, trying to figure out exactly what I'm doing here. And this is like, without a whole bunch of trouble, this is like the closest I can get to putting it on here, kind of like what I was picturing in my head. And it's not really working out kind of like I was wanting it to be honest with you. The biggest thing that I don't like about it is the fact that the wheel opening is so much bigger than the wheels and tires. I was really thinking originally that I would find a 10 lug axle with some 19.5 rubber like what we've got, on that truck. First of all, I don't have to carry one spare, and then everything would all match all the way around the truck, and it would fill in this opening better. But didn't find that, and I'm out of time, and I've got 16-inch rubber on there now instead of 19.5s, and they're just smaller, period, by about 4 or 5 inches compared to the other wheels and tires. And 4 or 5 inches is a lot. I mean, really, those tires are just a little bit too small in the opening, but they're big enough you can get away with it. I don't think these are gonna be. The other thing with all of that too is that this rear end is not as wide as one of those rear ends would be. And when we get this all up there, even when it's tight against the body, the tire is still gonna probably be close to like 4 inches inside this fender flare. So we're gonna have a truck with the tire almost in line with the bed of the truck, and then a fender flare with no tire under it. And that's kind of weird. So now bottom line, I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do here and kind of rethink this whole deal now that I actually have pieces and parts in play. It's a totally different deal going from your mind and then to rendering and then now to, actual parts. It's part of the game. It is what it is. I've been there a million times. I don't usually have the rendering to go off of, actually. That's kind of the first time I've had a rendering, so that's kind of cool. But at the same time, now, reality kicks in, and what can we actually do with the physical parts that we've got instead of just a digital thing that you can just grab and pull and tweak wherever you want. It's not quite that easy in real life. So I think kind of the moral of the story at this point is our rendering is out the window. I have already screwed it up with the cab because now we don't have a sleeper. We have a mega cab going on. And now I don't think the stuff that I was planning on doing on the bed is really going to work with this axle very well, like we were talking about. So since the rendering's kind of out the window, I'm kind of thinking maybe we just go ahead and run it like this. I actually like this look better than the fender flare that hangs out there with no purpose. I hate things that are just thrown all over stuff just to be there instead of having a purpose. I want everything to have a purpose and be, you know, useful in some way or another. So I think leave it like this. It's got a cleaner, nicer look to it. And then I do still, however, want to extend the front of it, obviously, so we'll have to do that. And then I also do want to come in here on the back and pie cut the whole entire bed and lean the thing forward. If you notice, the frame rail doesn't go all the way to the tailgate, and the reason that is because I was already planning on measuring all this all out and planning on the tailgate leaning forward. So that's where we cut the frame to be able to do that. So I guess time to get to work. Enough talking, BSing, and telling you guys all my thoughts, and just need to start making something happen. pretty well just tacked in place right now, but it's actually together and got some shape to it, so that's pretty good. I think before we move it all around so we can get to the front, because the lift's in the way to get to the front, might as well go ahead and work on the back part back here and see what it's going to take to try to cut this thing up and lean the back of this in. I think leaning the back of it in is going to make a world of difference on how this thing looks. So I definitely want to stick with that idea. I don't want it just to be looking like a pickup bed trailer back here completely. So that's the next project. Start cutting into this and figure out what we got. I think we're there, Connor.
Sweet.
What do you think?
I'm liking it.
I'm liking it too. Pull this sheet metal out there and line everything all up. I guess it's time to let the straps off and see if it springs off of there and hits Connor in the face.
Yep.
Good on the first one. Still attached to the truck, our frame. Think the tailgate will go down? Huh?
Better will, we'll see why not. It's at a weird angle, but I guess, yeah.
We need to extend these now.
Mm-hmm.
So they do a little bit longer. Or we need to find something to pad this, and this would be a nice recliner back here just to chill on.
There you go. I like that idea.
I still can't believe how messed up this tailgate is, and it still latches.
Pretty impressive, really.
Well, I guess now we gotta patch in those big pieces over there along the side of the bedside, I guess. Kind of hoping those cuts would have lined up a little bit better than they did. This side over here isn't too bad. That side over there, it's a big giant gap. We're gonna have to cut pieces and put in there. Sucks. Oh well. yesterday was pretty productive. We got quite a little ways done here, and everything kind of tacking in place and looking pretty good. Now we need to start working on this extension up here in the front, so we got all the way to the landing gear and kind of closes all that off and hides all that ugly. And to do that, we got this other section of bed here that we picked up from Pfeiffer's. Connor went out there and cut it off, and now we need to trim it down to where it actually fit and go over here where we need it to go. This one is a kind of interesting piece. This is the one that at some point or another somebody has already put a piece of a bedside together to make that bed. So who knows what we're going to get into when we start cutting on this thing, but there's definitely a yellow truck underneath there at some point, and then also you can tell there's some body filler and stuff in there too, so might get interesting when we go to try to make this actually fit. Well, I got the panel up there and I got it pretty close to fitting, but the gap wasn't good enough to weld. And it's not quite back as far as I'd like it to be. So I went ahead and put a piece of tape on there, and I lined the tape up perfectly with the front edge of this bed. And then now we can go ahead and cut that, and then that's going to give us a really, really nice edge there to go off of. And it's also going to bring it back the little bit that I want to bring it back. So cut it one more time and we should be able to just go ahead and weld this piece on at that point. was a bit of a challenge to get that cut right there. That ended up landing right in the area where somebody has spliced that front piece of that bed in there, and there was dual pieces overlapping each other. Proof to the fact that you can overlap metal like that and get away with it. I mean, obviously that was done a long time ago. I mean, look at this paint. It is flaking off like crazy. So I would guess there's no way that was done, probably not even in the 80s. I don't know, maybe in the 80s, but anyways, quite a long time ago, and the panel didn't rust out on either side, even though they were overlapped and everything. I'm not saying that that's like the best way to do it. It's obviously not. If you can butt weld them together, and if you can, you know, hammer it all out and smooth it all up and get a coating on each side of it to where it's sealed up good, would obviously be the best way to go. But it doesn't always make sense to be able to put, you know, that time and energy into something. Like, for instance, an old pickup or whatever like that. It was probably an old pickup when this happened in the 70s or early 80s, and it wasn't worth taking the time and trouble to do that. And it still lasted. You wouldn't even have known it other than being able to look inside and see it. So that was the only thing that threw it away or gave it away for me. But anyways, point of the story is it was doubled up and it lasted. So there you go. Now, I have to take off for a couple of days, and it's time for Julie's surgery on her cancer. So they're going to go cut that all out, and we're going to see how all that goes. And I guess I'll be back probably in a couple of days to see how this plays on out. I'm going to leave Connor to go ahead and work on it. I have gave him some instructions on some stuff to do. I've got tons of stuff for him to weld and take care of. And then also, I've got some 4-inch strapping that's going to go on the side of here, and that's going to cover up the sides of these, you know, cross members all the way around. So he can get that on there and get all the welding done and whatnot. That'll be a lot. So we'll see how far he gets when I come back, and I'll bring you guys back when I'll do that. So, well, it's been a second for you guys, but it's been a week for us, and Julie is out of the hospital and doing fairly well, I guess.
Trying to recover. But I did want to get on here and say thank you to you guys. A very warm and heartfelt thank you for all of your prayers. They've been felt. And for also so many of you sharing your own cancer journeys with me. It's given me a lot of courage and inspiration, and to know that I am in some good company with you guys, and we're going to get through this, and I'm praying for you guys as well. And yeah, just too many people are getting cancer, but I'm doing well. It's a journey, but I'm getting there.
This is her first day out of the house, really, and
yeah, it is.
She's only going to be here at the shop for a little while. She's going to go back home here pretty quick.
Yeah,
so.
It's just driving me nuts to be at home sitting and not able to do anything. I'm not that kind of person, and so I just had to come in and at least look at what is going on here before he takes off for Ratstock. And I did definitely want to talk to you guys and tell you guys thank you very much.
So speaking of Ratstock and
What's going
everything, you kind of see now the trailer is stripped down to bare metal, so that's pretty cool. Most of the stuff's all welded from when you guys have seen it last, and both sides are on and whatnot. So the trailer has come along pretty decent. It needs the strapping on the side still and the deck on the top, which isn't that big of a deal. But I've been...
Talk.
We've got like 2 days left before we're supposed to leave, and that's counting all day today. So yeah, anyways, the bigger problem...
Wish I could help. I really do. It's driving me nuts to not be able to do something.
Bigger problem I'm having is I can't keep antifreeze in the truck for some reason. So I've got it running, sounding great. The fuel injection seems like it's working great. I haven't got to be able to even run all the way up to temperature yet to be able to dial in the idle just perfect and all that stuff yet, but I haven't had it over 160 and it pukes water out all over the place. So I got to get back to work on that, and I'm going to have to call this video kind of done for now because I can't put any more time and energy into it if we're going to actually try to make Ratstock. And I think trying to make Ratstock is the ultimate goal here. So appreciate you guys watching, following along, and I'll give you one more quick shot of the trailer, I guess, as we're leaving, and then you guys will have to tune in next week, see if we get this thing dialed in and see if we're on the road or
Next
if we're
week is
sitting
some
here
Ratstock.
crying. We won't be sitting here crying. We'll be driving a Kia to Ratstock or something.
You
But
will be, I won't be. I'll be still stuck at home.
she's staying.
I'm grounded.
But yeah, we will definitely be heading to Ratstock next week, and hopefully it'll be in the truck. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Let them see this. Need to knock that big giant dent out right there.
Yeah, you do.